The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
Let's get into this main event. In the lightweight division, we had Islam Makhachev defending his belt against Renato Moicano. And this fight was not the fight that was supposed to happen. It was supposed to be Islam versus Arman Sarukian. And what was it? The day before, it was Friday, they announced that he was out.
Yep.
Due to a back injury. And I don't know. Do you know any more details on how this back injury happened so close to the fight, Admire?
No, I heard something about that it was during training. It was a back injury while cutting weight. But, I mean, I don't know how you injure your back cutting weight. I may be training or, I hope not, but maybe the weight cut was hard on him and he passed out and hurt his back. I don't know. I haven't heard the specific details. That's it. Back injury while cutting weight.
And Steve, I think I broke the news story out to Steve. I think he wasn't even aware that Moicano stepped in the main event before I texted him. What research did you did after I told you about that, Steve?
Well, from what I hear, I guess from doing my research, they say Armand denied it, but I guess they say what's her name, Nina Drama, who does.
She's for people that don't know, she's the social media. I don't even know what you call. She's a reporter, but she kind of hopped on the scene. Like 2023 is when I started seeing her in my algorithm. Some people say she's an industry plant, but she gets all the interviews with a lot of the UFC stars, and she does a little bit of thirst trappy stuff, but it works for her because she has a lot of numbers. But yeah, I saw the story. They were blaming her. I saw her come on. It was like a Twitter video that came through my feed, and she was like defending herself. I didn't even know that she was getting blamed. And even after I saw her video explaining herself, I didn't go back and see why people were blaming her. So maybe you could go into detail, like why were people blaming her?
Well, I didn't look too much into it, but from what I think, how they go in and talking to the fighter and, like you say, she does her thirst trappy stuff. And I think she may have jumped on his back or something. I think they didn't show the footage or something, but I think that's what happened. And that's what they say that happened.
Well, the video, she was explaining how I saw a video. Okay, the video where she was kind of explaining, she didn't apologize, but she was explaining how she wasn't the reason he was injured. They had a video spliced with him like doing some, like if he was doing a wrestling warm-up where they spin on their back and go round and round. So I'm guessing they were saying that she jumped on his back, that something that wasn't on camera.
Yeah, or something. I did see that where he was spinning around, like, to me, from last time I saw that was Mike Tyson, going in a circle on his neck. I can definitely see how he probably could have jacked up his neck doing that. But as far as the Nina Drama, I think it was just one of those skits to where showing them MMA moves or their skills. I forgot what type of what UFC calls those type of promotions for the fighters, but I think she ended up doing something or jumping on her back, and they ended up in his back and ended up not showing that footage of that injury. That's the rumor.
Yeah. So I found an official statement from him himself, and he said everything was good until Wednesday after training. I went to sleep and I started to feel my lower back. Couldn't sleep all night, and I thought something happened. Painkillers didn't help. Next day, thought I was going to be good. After the press conference, I started my weight cut. I was doing the bike, and in the moment, my back started to hurt, and I couldn't move. I just laid down.
Yeah.
Wednesday, he's starting to do his weight cut?
He says everything was good until Wednesday after training. So, I mean, that tells me it sounds like training. It said he had like 6 pounds to go in his weight cut as of Thursday.
Oh, geez, he's way he's not in shape.
Like, didn't he go to the ceremonial weigh-ins on Friday?
I think he was out by then.
Out by then. So
Trying
I
to
think
cut.
he didn't show up for the official weigh-in, and that's when people started worrying because he was like the only person to not weigh in. So
By
yeah,
that time, trying to cut 8, 7, 6 pounds the day, 2 days before. That's crazy. You got to be
Yeah,
like 4 to 3 pounds by that time. 4 to
says
3.
says his weight cut was going as planned. He had 6 pounds left to cut before he went to bed Thursday night.
That's too. That's too. 48 hours to cut 6 pounds is. That's not. He's out. He was out of shape. He probably already pushed it to the limit, and then he probably had nothing left.
yeah. I know some people do more drastic cuts than others. So.
I know it happens. Believe me, I was one of them. I lost 40 pounds in like
Dang.
6 days. I'm not even 4 days. Like, oh, you got to fight
Crazy.
4. I was 14 pounds over, so I already know yogurt diet. But still, you don't have the power with you. You don't have nothing. But yeah, that's interesting. So this guy that fought in his place, I don't know much of him either.
Money Moicano, he's ranked number 10. He was a prospect. I mean, going from 10 to fighting the champion, that's a pretty, drastic change of competition because he was supposed to fight Bernil Dariush, who's ranked just a spot ahead of him at number 9. So I don't know. I mean, you got to take the shot because if you're not going to get a title shot.
Yeah, you might not get it. So I'm not mad at him. He came ready. He was very explosive early. He was touching them. They was touching each other. It was very interesting. The defense, I was like, man, if he just keeps his, distance, he wasn't getting touched, he wasn't getting grabbed, he was getting out of his thing. But once he got to the floor, you already knew. Even I knew just watching the fight. It's only a matter of time, and it wasn't even just a matter of time. It was a matter of seconds, and it was over just like that, man.
Yeah. Even early on in the fight, I thought Moicano got a knockdown, but it was just a slip. It ended up just being a slip by Islam, and then Islam ended up doing Islam things and took Moicano down and eventually got that Darce. What are your thoughts on this one, Amar?
Yeah, I mean, it was good while it lasted. Moicano came out a lot more aggressive than I expected, and I liked it. I mean, if one of those would have landed, who knows what would have happened. I thought I seen a knockdown too, but it was ruled a slip. He, like you said, he was ranked number 10. You got to take your shot. If somebody says, hey, you want to fight for the belt, you can't really say no, or that they might hold that against you in the future. So find out what you're really made of. And on a different level, Makhachev and Dariush aren't really the same level, but they're the same style. So Moicano was already training for somebody that wanted to be on the ground. So it wasn't like he was training for one thing and going against it completely different. It was still in the same neighborhood. So yeah, I think he's in the UFC's good graces now. So hopefully they, give him somebody ranked a little higher next, for doing him a favor, saving the show.
And he didn't drop out of the ranking by losing, as expected. And Dariush is still there, so maybe they just actually put that fight on. Dariush was left out. He was the odd man out. He got left out in the cold and didn't fight at all this past weekend. But what were your thoughts on this one, Steve?
Yeah, like I said, Moicano, he had a chance to stand up, but it's almost like you got all these weapons and just in all fights stand on the ground, but you get taken down, it's kind of over. And I think that's what happened with this one. I think Moicano even explained his loss to where he was on his back and Islam was on top, and he said he gave him the illusion to put his foot on his thigh to push up to get up. And he said Islam tricked him and he left his neck exposed. And he was just explaining the levels of where he needs to work on. And I mean, I guess Islam just has too much veteran intelligence. And I think Moicano figured that out last Saturday. To say that, it just shows what levels he's on. Because I think even before then, I think even after the Dariush fight, I think he was looking for Paddy Pimblett. I think that would be more on his level of a good fight. But definitely way outmatched for Islam, and I think just the performance showed it.
So Chris already gave us his thoughts on the fight, but Chris, somebody stepping in last minute like this, is it more of an advantage for a champion or like the challenger when it comes to like a last minute replacement like that?
I guess on a challenger, right? Because they've been preparing for this other fighter, and the challenger is just looking at it like, man, they already have the champion on top. They already know who the champion is. Every challenger knows that's the guy I got to get to. So they already studied this guy. You know, they already like, I got to be like him. I got to beat him. They're watching every champion's move. So the challenger's already known who they're fighting against. You know, the champion is just looking at, you know, wait, I'm not fighting him no more. Who am I fighting? And now you're just trying to scramble and see who this guy is and just trying to figure out, all right, who is this guy? Who is this? And, you know, so I would say the advantage goes to the challenger because the challenger really got nothing to lose. Yeah. He has nothing to lose, everything to gain from this. And the champion has everything to lose. So it's a scary fight for a champion. You know, it's a very scary fight. And you got to fight, unfortunately, because, you know, you're a big draw. You just can't come out. So you got to take you're the champion. You got to take all this. So, but, you know, as we saw, there's different levels to this.
Yeah, that's what it
you know,
that's what it come down to. Yeah, like it's just sometimes
the champion didn't matter. It looked like it didn't matter who was coming in there that night. Someone was going on the floor and they was gonna get choked out, and that's just what was gonna happen.
And to my knowledge, the last time it actually worked when it was like that drastic of like the ranking difference, and the challenger was actually able to beat the champion from. It might be something in between then, but it was like 10 years ago when it was Dillashaw versus Renan Barao. Like nobody thought TJ Dillashaw was going to step in and win that fight, but we looking back at it, we kind of know why. He was on the juicy juice.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what was that? What was he was taking? Steve, me and Steve, we talk about it from time to time. That he was that shit that he was taking that had his gas tank juiced up to the gills. I can't remember.
Yeah, I used to say it all the damn time.
We used to say it all the time. Nobody's gotten busted for it in a while, but yeah, I digress. But I think Islam probably has more of a problem with finding challenges than Merab does. Like we were saying, there's a few people that Merab can face, but who does Islam really get paired up with? Everybody always runs to him fighting somebody in a weight class above. We have Bilal's gonna face Shavkat. I don't think they have a date set for that, so there's still stuff for him to do at welterweight. Islam definitely wouldn't go down. Well, they were talking about featherweight champion going up to face Islam possibly. As far as Ilia Topuria goes, I mean, you know how I feel about super fights. I feel like both champions have to build their resume up enough for that to happen. I don't think Topuria is there. I think Islam's definitely there because he's been champion 5 years now, low key. He's been champion for a while.
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken. So
5 years, oof, man.
Yeah, so like I said, up he doesn't have a challenger that's built their resume up, and down he doesn't. So where do you even go from here, Admire?
Yeah, for Islam, I mean, he's kind of cleared it out to where he can kind of call his shots and pick what he wants to do.
He said anybody could get it in his post-fight interview, but you know, that's just him talking.
I mean, he hasn't fought like, you know, Justin Gaethje, but
I thought he did beat him. He didn't beat him yet. I could have swore he beat Gaethje.
I don't think he's fought Gaethje.
Well, we know what happened.
Yeah, I mean, we would know what happens. Yeah, I mean, he's just the guy. Islam is just so good. I mean, he hasn't fought Max Holloway, but I think same thing. I mean, Islam's just going to take down whoever he wants. So you got to find somebody that is super high level wrestling, or you know, somebody that is from Dagestan, really, to give him a challenge. I think that him moving up would probably be his best interest, but I don't think that's the best interest of the welterweight division. You know, I think Makhachev beats Muhammad or Leon Edwards.
Yeah, so I overestimated how long he's only had it for 2.5 years. He got it in October 2022. So, I mean, but he's defended it. That's his fourth defense, which is kind of a good bit of defenses. And he beat Volkanovski twice. Poirier was like the one that, all right, Poirier was like let's see if he's the real deal. Volkanovski's a featherweight, and he beat Poirier pretty easily. So, I mean, he still could circle back around and do the Sarukian fight like he's supposed to, actually, now that I think about it.
Yeah, I mean, other than that, I mean, he's going to have to move up or let Poirier get a couple wins and move up. But, yeah.
Like I feel like it's like kind of stagnant as far as like new blood, because we got the guys like Charles Oliveira, the Poiriers, but they're like kind of up there in age. Like I don't feel like UFC isn't doing a good job of elevating some of these, Gen Zers up there that can maybe try to vie for that belt.
Yeah, they need to in the lightweight, because if you look at that, the top 10, I mean, it's mostly the older guys. Like you said, Poirier, Holloway, Gaethje's been around forever. Hooker's been around a while. Chandler's, up there. So, yeah, they need to get some fresh blood up there. I guess, Paddy Pimblett's there at 12, that they've been behind him a lot. I see him jumping up, fighting somebody around the 5 spot soon.
Yeah, man. Us millennials are getting long in the tooth, and that's like basically everybody that's in the top 15 as far as lightweight goes. Like, I'm guessing, Steve, I guess the Sarukian fight would make most sense.
That's the only person that can challenge his wrestling and keep up with him. Honestly, everybody else, I think, is just going to get demolished. Just gets taken down. Arman is the only person, as you see in his old first fight with him, is the only one to actually contest him and go through transitions of wrestling to even make a fight last to a decision,
Yeah, I mean, like you said, people were saying that they were interested to see that chess match between him and Sarukian as far as the wrestling goes, and I don't know, man, something in that Dagestani water makes them different. We just saw his not his cousin, but his teammate fight through that broken hand, and we know how Khabib got down when he was active, and got Usman over there, the champion in PFL or Bellator. I don't know what's going on if they finally combine, but yeah, good problems for Islam Makhachev to have as far as his next opponent. Thank you for checking out this Haymaker Combat Sports segment. This full episode can be found on the Haymaker Combat Sports YouTube page and in audio form on all major podcast platforms. Until next time, peace.